presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon at Miller Park, Milwaukee, and the fans are filing in for the final game of this series. The Cincinnati Reds and the Milwaukee Brewers, and it is the rubber game here. This series is all tied at 1 apiece. Jonathan Lucroy swinging the bat well. He's got home runs in each of the first 2 games. The Brewer catcher is back in the starting lineup once again today. Adam Duvall's been the story for the Reds. 7 RBIs. He's hit 2 3-run homers in this series. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park. Great to have you with us here this afternoon. Happy Memorial Day weekend to all of you. I'm Brian Anderson. Bill Schroeder is here. Sophia Minard is our reporter. Well, before we move ahead to today's game, let's talk about yesterday's game. I think it was one of the strangest games that we've ever seen here at Miller Park. And it just goes to show you, Rock, you never know what you're going to see at the ballpark.
And that's why it's great to be here every day. But yesterday, the Brewers had a nice commanding lead, but it evaporated quickly. But it all started with Alfredo Simon getting hit on an attempted steal at home by Holt. Anderson drills him, and then on the second effort, Simon hits Anderson right in the shoulder blade. He gets ejected, and it gets the bullpen for the Reds involved in the game. And this is what happens when the Reds bullpen gets involved. They have not been very good this year. Lucroy with his second home run of the series. And then Michael Blazing had a rough one. He gave up 5 runs in an inning yesterday, and Duvall with the big 3-run home run. In a tie game, 9th inning, it looked like the inning was over. The Reds were out of challenges, but you can see Curtis Jeanette does not have his foot on the bag. You got to have contact with the bag. The umpires review. They get the save call, the run scores, and crazy happenings here at Miller Park. And baseball needs to do some things to tweak the review plays. It was something that Craig Counsell was talking about after the game yesterday. But it is what it is. They got all the calls right, and replay is working, although it's been challenging at times.
And it's interesting for us to try to detail these events and think about all those poor sports writers out there having to write about that game last night. Well, it does set us up for today's game. The series is all tied at 1 apiece. The Brewers do have a bit of news, and let's bring in Sophia Minard now. Ryan Braun, Sophia, is out of the lineup. What do you have?
Yeah, that's right. If the Brewers are going to try to win this series, they're going to do so without the bat of Ryan Braun. He is missing his 2nd straight game, but Craig Counsell said that today it is neck stiffness that is keeping Braun out of the lineup. Yesterday, it was just a normal day off, a scheduled day off for Braun. So he has now missed 8 of his last 14 games. Counsell saying this neck stiffness flared up after yesterday's game. He was hurting this morning, so he will miss this series finale. You see the numbers for Braun, the .351 average, the 9 home runs, the 30 RBIs. Always changes the lineup dramatically without Braun in it. So in the outfield tonight, it'll be Alex Presley, Keon Broxton, and Ramon Flores. But Jimmy Nelson has been fantastic. Can he give the crew a 4th straight quality start? First pitch is coming up next here at Miller Park.
Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Starting to feel more and more like summer. Beautiful Sunday afternoon. Crowd still filing in as the Brewers and the Reds ready to match up for Game 3. Brandon Finnegan, the left-hander on the mound for Cincinnati, coming to the Reds from the Kansas City Royals. He pitched to Jim. Nothing to show for it his last time out against the Dodgers. And Jimmy Nelson, his last 3 starts, a 1.27 earned run average. That sets the stage. We're ready to roll for Game 3. It's the series finale and the rubber game. Brewers-Reds coming up next on a Sunday afternoon from Miller Park. He goes. Nelson strikes him out. Big fastball from Jimmy Nelson. Did he go? Yes, he did. A strikeout. Well, the Brewers' most consistent pitcher all year, Jimmy Nelson. He is on the mound today on a Sunday afternoon. And he leads the Brewers out onto the field to take on the Cincinnati Reds. Brewers baseball today on Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Blue skies up above, 73 degrees. We are glad to have you with us today. Brian Anderson, Bill Schroeder, Sophia Minard, Brent Reeland, our producer, Mark Vittorio, our director. And delighted to have you with us today as we get set for the final game of the series. And the Brewers are trying to win the series after surrendering a lead yesterday and a tough, gut-wrenching loss at the hand of the Reds yesterday afternoon. Brian Price's lineup today for the Reds. It's Billy Hamilton, Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips. In the middle it goes Jay Bruce, Adam Duvall, who's been the star of this series, and then Tyler Holt. Bottom 3, Avon de Jesus, Tucker Barnhart, and Brandon Finnegan. That's the starting 9 for the Redlegs. And the lineup that will face Jimmy Nelson.
Yeah, Jimmy looking for his first win since May 2nd. That was against the Angels right here at Miller Park, but he's having a very good month of May. A 270 earned run average in 5 starts, a 1-1 record in May. Last time out, a no decision. Pitched well, 6 innings, 1 run in a 2-1 Brewers victory in Atlanta. Well, let's check out the Menards defense as written in by Craig Counsell here today. No Ryan Braun. We talked about that when we came on the air. Presley in left, Broxton in center, and Ramon Flores in right. Perez, VR, and Hill. You got Chris Carter at first base and Jonathan Lucroy back behind home plate.
Umpires in place today. Chad Fairchild will call the balls and strikes. He had a number of close calls over at first yesterday. Jim Joyce is the crew chief. Marvin Hudson over at second base. And the third base umpire is James Hoy. And everybody ready to roll today. The Brewers will welcome in the Cardinals tomorrow, Memorial Day. Starts a 3-game series with another division rival. First things first, last game of the series with the Reds. Reds were able to snap an 11-game losing streak with their win yesterday. Most improbable victory. And the Brewers are trying to get back to winning ways here today. First pitch on the way, and it is a fastball high. Away we go from Miller Park. Billy Hamilton was not in the starting lineup yesterday. We did see him as a pinch hitter in the game. Matter of fact, he was robbed of an extra base hit late in the game yesterday. But he's back in there this afternoon. The speedy center fielder is in the leadoff spot. Has not been getting on base much at all this year. It's been a struggle for him. On base percentage of just .265. Got to hurry it up though. He can run, and that goes right under the glove, and Hamilton does not even slow down. And just like that, Billy Hamilton is into second base.
And that's what speed will do for you. Aaron Hill, very sure-handed, knew he had to be quick and brought the glove up before he had the baseball. So not a good start for the Brewers. Problems over at second base in yesterday's ball game in the 9th inning. A possible double play was reversed, and that one right under the glove, trying to get rid of it too quickly.
So that'll be scored as a base hit for Hamilton. That'll have to be a double for Billy Hamilton.
You have to take into consideration the speed of the hitter when you're given a hit or an error, and I can't really dispute that call.
He is the fastest player in the big leagues. So Billy Hamilton at second for Joey Votto, and a first pitch fastball is in there. Votto hit his 7th home run of the season in the first game of this series on Friday. Had a couple of hits yesterday, and he was part of that 5-run inning for the Reds. That was a 7th inning to forget for Milwaukee yesterday. They went into the inning up 6-1, and when it was all said and done, it was 6-6. And then of course that controversial play that went to review on a double play that was overturned, saying Jeanette's foot was off the bag. That allowed the Reds to score the go-ahead run in the 9th, and then the Brewers went quietly in the bottom of the 9th, and Cincinnati had their first win of the series. No balls, 2 strikes on Votto, and Nelson will check on Hamilton.
Yeah, he will steal third base. You got to keep him honest. The only base you can't steal is first, and that's been a problem for Billy Hamilton, just not getting on base enough. But when he does, he creates a lot of problems for you.
Hamilton only has 8 steals right now. He's had 50+ in his first 2 full seasons in the big leagues, and in the minor leagues he once stole a record 155 bases in a single minor league season. Reds keep hoping he's going to move into that star status, but he seems to have leveled off a little bit at this point of his career. And Nelson will keep him close. Got him into a dive that time.
Yes, he just creates a lot of problems, and keeping the attention away from Votto. A lot of the attention for Jimmy Nelson on the base runner, and that's when you make mistakes.
One ball, 2 strikes, just underway from Miller Park. And another pickoff play, and they got him. VR to third to Perez. And they cut him down. Officially, it'll go as a caught stealing. But beautifully executed from the mound to the shortstop over to third.
Yeah, just a little bit too much dancing around for Billy Hamilton. I mean, already in scoring position and just trying to do too much. Picked off. Good play by VR to adjust. He made the catch, and it only takes one throw. There's a good adjustment by VR to make the catch and the throw to get Hamilton.
It goes 1 to 6 to 5 on the caught stealing. So the first out of the game. Now Votto in the 1-2 count takes a ball, 2-2.
It's just not necessary. You don't have to be messing around at second base. I mean, nobody out. You got your big hitters coming up, and just doesn't make a lot of sense.
He's still talking to himself. Those frustrate you when you're maybe trying to press, do a little too much. He knows the speed game is such an important part of his game. And Hamilton, after a hustle double, runs into an out. Look out, way inside. Votto spins out of there.
Yeah, see, Votto, he likes to cover that outside corner, and he's going to dive in there, and he's going to keep that front shoulder closed. And you know, you have success coming inside on him, but you better get it in there.
The extreme choke up of Joey Votto, and he stands as deep as he can and right on top of home plate. That does not leave much room for a pitcher in there. As Votto fights it off foul. And that's typically what he tries to do with inside pitches, inside fastballs anyway. Fight those off and cover the outside corner.
It just always looks like he's in an emergency mode, emergency hack mode, even early in the count. Now, all scrunched over with 2 strikes. He's up about 3-4 inches on that bat.
He's having a very unusual season. Not Votto-like. He's only hitting .212. And his on-base percentage is at .337, and that's, I mean, it's not horrible, but for a guy like Joey Votto and the standards that he has set in his career, that is way below his career mark.
Yeah, he's around 400 just about every season when he's healthy. Back line right on top of home plate, just challenging you to come inside.
Full count to Votto. And he hits it right off the end of the bat, right to Perez over there on the shift. Technically goes as a 5-3 putout. And 2-men are out here in the first inning. Now Jimmy Nelson has been terrific over his last 3 games, Rock. His earned run average combined 127, and yet does not have a win to show for it. Hoping that changes here today.
Yeah, the only real bad start he's had this year was against the Reds in Cincinnati. 5 innings, 6 runs, 5 earned runs. But the Brewers were able to win that game in 10 innings, a 13-7 victory. But he's been outstanding, and he's certainly been the backbone of the starting rotation all season long.
Facing Brandon Phillips with 2 away. Coming in at .254. Phillips, another guy in this Reds lineup with a low on base percentage. He's under 300. He's at .295 for an on base percentage. Reds still have big names in their lineup. Votto, Phillips, Jay Bruce, familiar names, franchise players, but they are not producing at this point. Cincinnati comes in with a record of 16-33. Brewers at 22-27.
And surprisingly, right at the bottom of the National League in team batting average. Who would have thought that with the lineup that they throw out there? They haven't scored a ton of runs.
Now, during their 11-game losing streak, the Reds were averaging just over 2.5 runs per game. That's why it was a bit unusual and a bit of a shock for the Brewers to see the Reds not only score 7 runs, but score 5 in 1 inning, and all coming with 2 outs in an inning.
Yeah, 5 hits, 5 runs, the big 3-run homer, and you know, you don't see that kind of struggle out of Michael Blazek. It just didn't have it yesterday. Just really none of his pitches were working for him, and the Reds took advantage of it.
1-2 the count to Brandon Phillips. Pops it foul. It was a good bet that Phillips was not going to be a member of the Reds this season. There was a much publicized report that a trade was imminent, trading Brandon Phillips to the Washington Nationals, but he vetoed that trade, which is in his rights to do. He has been in Cincinnati 11 years now. He's been in the big leagues for 15. They call it 10-5 rights. 10 years in the major leagues, 5 with the same team. And a no trade.
Interesting decision by Phillips. He takes the comfort of being in a familiar area, and of course with the Nationals you got a chance to get into the postseason, maybe win a World Series.
Now Washington right now certainly contending. They're 8 games over. They're tied with the Mets in the National League East. A ball and 2 strikes on Phillips. He chops one foul. Phillips is in or towards the end of a long contract that he signed. It was originally a 10-year deal, and it finally comes to an end after next season. He's still been a very productive player. At the time, it looked like the Reds had lost their minds, but to sign a 10-year deal. But Phillips at that time was putting up huge numbers. That deal was signed in 08. He won his first Gold Glove that season.
Yeah, he's been one of the best for a long time over at second base. Good run producer.
The year prior to that contract, Phillips had 30 homers and 94 runs batted in. That was the 07 season, and then he signed the 10-year deal in 08. Hasn't approached those numbers since. The following year, he actually drove in 78 runs, had 21 homers. Did have a 100 RBI season in 2013. That was his last All-Star season. But to Brandon Phillips' point about the trade, he signed a deal and he's going to see it to the end with the Reds, which he considers home. The 10th pitch coming as Nelson in a long battle here with Brandon Phillips. And Phillips steps out again. A 3-time All-Star. He's won 4 Gold Glove awards.
And loves the state of Ohio. Started his career in Cleveland.
2-2 on the way. And a line drive, base hit. Boy, what a battle that was. Brandon Phillips on the 10th pitch of the at-bat, singles to center field.
On one of Jimmy's best fastballs, 95. He gave him up in the strike zone, and Phillips able to turn it around. And you see the fastball grip, and it's up. It's inner half, and Phillips able to finally center on one and drive it into center field.
So a man on. It's the second hit of the inning. And here is Jay Bruce. Bruce with 8 home runs on the season. He's driven in 30. He is the Reds' RBI leader coming in. And that trend of low on base percentage applies to Bruce as well. Just a .313 on base clip. Reds are the only team he's ever known as well. He's in year number 9 as a Cincinnati Red. He came up in 08.
He's always been in discussions at the trading deadline in the offseason about getting moved somewhere, but that never happens.
1-1 pitch. Bruce pops it foul and out of play.
And Jonathan Lucroy and Jay Bruce were the 2 guys everybody was talking about that were sure bets to get moved in the offseason. Never happened. Both of them still with their respective teams. I know the Brewers are glad that Lucroy's still here.
Jimmy Nelson going through the whole repertoire here with Lucroy.
Yeah, threw him a changeup already, and that was a good pitch for Chase Anderson against Jay Bruce yesterday. The changeup. Jimmy starting to throw that pitch a little bit more, that change.
Going with the sinker. Phillips dancing off second, takes off. Lucroy's throw to second. The tag, out! Jonathan Lucroy has now thrown out his last 7 runners attempting to steal. What a run he is on defensively. And Phillips got a great jump. Perfect throw. Inning over. 2 outs on the bases for the Reds in the top of the first. Now the Brewers coming up. No score. The Reds get 2 hits, but Jimmy Nelson facing just 3+ batters in that first inning. Now Milwaukee coming up. The Potawatomi batting order looks like this: VR, Perez, and Lucroy at the top. Craig Counsell has Carter, Hill, and Flores in the middle, and then it's Broxton, Presley, and Nelson rounding it out. No Ryan Braun if you're just picking us up. Sophia reporting he has a stiff neck. Brandon Finnegan, the left-hander, coming to the Reds from the Royals. He'll get the start this afternoon.
Yeah, tough luck for him. 1-3, a 397. Good numbers for him, except for the wins and losses. His only win came on April 16th at St. Louis. And the Reds have lost each of his last 7 starts.
Facing Jonathan VR, the switch-hitting shortstop for the Brewers. He will start the game as a right-handed batter against the lefty, which is where his power is. Both the VR's homers have come as a right-handed hitter. He's among league leaders in doubles, hitting .367 from this side of the fence. Brewers without the big bat in their lineup once again. Braun did not start yesterday, just a day off. And then today it's a stiff neck. So Braun has dealt with the thumb injury, which has some nerve damage. He's dealt with a sore right wrist. He missed 4 games with a bad back on the last road trip, and now the neck's got him down.
And it makes a big difference when he's out of the lineup for sure. Yep, he pinch hit in yesterday's ball game, grounded into a double play. That was the only activity he had, and not able to go today.
Full count to VR, and he lines one, base hit in the right center. Jonathan VR continues to hit. That'll push his batting average back over 300, and a lead man on for Milwaukee.
Well, let's check out the Menards Reds defense for today. They've had a tough time defensively near the bottom of the National League in defense. Holt, Hamilton, and Bruce in the outfield. Duvall over at third base. He was out in left field yesterday. DeJesus at short. Phillips and Votto on the right side, and Tucker Barnhart behind home plate.
Here's Hernan Perez. Back in the lineup at third and back in the 2 spot in the order with the left-hander on the mound. Craig Counsell, at least offensively, platooning Perez and Jeanette. They play different positions, but the number 2 spot in the order goes to the right-handed hitting Perez today as opposed to the left-handed hitting Jeanette. And that slides Aaron Hill over to second base, a position he's very comfortable playing. With Braun out of the lineup today, it does force the manager's hands a little bit, though. It forces another left-handed bat in the lineup. The Brewers in their outfield core are heavy left-handed. Domingo Santana's on the disabled list, and Braun scratched today. So Ramon Flores and Alex Presley, 2 lefties, are in the lineup against Brandon Finnegan.
And not to mention one of the best hitters in the game sitting on the bench.
Well, especially against lefties. Braun this year is hitting .357 against left-handed pitching. The rest of the team is just at .221 against lefties. Perez pops it up. Phillips will watch it, and he'll make the catch.
That's a heck of a play right there.
Goes crashing into the wall.
Keep going. Keep going.
VR tagged, and now waiting on a throw, and it comes in late. How about that? VR all the way to third, as Brandon Phillips drops in a heap after crashing into the wall.
Yeah, if he went right away, I mean, he would have been able to stand up. But realizing that Phillips, who made a great play, I mean, crashing into that wall, not sure what he heard, even though there's a pad there. It's but he made the catch, and VR, who realized that Phillips was in no condition to make a good throw to third, able to take advantage of it. Yeah, right into the pad, both knees. And you can see it takes him a while to get up. VR thinking about it right about once he gets up, VR thinks about going to third base, and he's able to make it. It takes his time a little bit, then realizes he's not doing too well. I'm not sure he's going to be able to make a throw, and he can't.
A good aggressive base running there by VR. And now the concern for Brandon Phillips.
I think you heard me telling him to go.
I think he did. I heard you.
Go ahead. He's having a difficult time. Let him, take off.
Well, the way Phillips is hobbling right now, it does not look like he's going to be able to stay in this game.
Yeah, there's that wall is padded, but it's a stiff padding. It's not something that even if you go into it, it's gonna, you're gonna feel it. But both knees, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to continue. He's having a difficult time. Putting pressure on one of those legs. Not sure which one it is.
I thought the whole play unfolded unusually. Phillips was casually running over. It looked like, I think at least in the beginning, that he thought it was going into the seats. I did too, frankly. It looked like when it left the bat, it was going to slice foul in the seats, but there might be just enough wind. I'm not sure what the wind currents are, but it might have kept it fair. And I think Phillips at the last moment realized he's got to play on this ball.
What a great catch, though. Just not able to get up and keep VR at third base. But that's what you get out of Brandon Phillips. I mean, that's a tremendous play. Not too many guys are going to be able to make that catch. I can't imagine what the Reds are waiting for. I mean, he's having a difficult time.
He hasn't even been able to straighten up yet. Just now got to his feet. And you don't know if it's a back or if it's the knees, or
it could be anything.
Well, in the meantime, Brandon Finnegan gonna get a few warm-up tosses just to try to stay loose. And Price has taken the glove. That's a pretty good indication that the manager is going to remove the player when he takes his glove from him. But
Phillips saying not so fast. The way he was walking, it looks like it's a left leg.
Says, give me my glove back. Well, maybe he's going to stay.
Well, it feels as good right now as it's going to all day. So he's going to give it a shot. He's a gamer.
Well, it was a fantastic play. You see the reason why he's won 4 Gold Gloves in his career. And just the way he's able to position his body to make that catch, but he paid for it with that one. I would imagine it's similar to, you know, being in a minor car crash.
Right.
The way you have to, that impact of that wall stops your body, stops the momentum. He's going to hang in there, so we'll play on and we'll keep an eye on Phillips. VR ends up at third base, taking 2 bases on the tag up. So the Brewers a chance to score here. Runner at third, 1 away for Jonathan Lucroy. He'll play the infield back this early in the game. Lucroy's had a nice series. He's hit homers in each of the first 2 games, has 6 RBIs in this series, 4 hits, 2 homers and a double. Now has 8 home runs and 23 driven in.
And just needs to hit a ground ball up the middle to get a run.
In the air, slicing. Phillips doesn't even bother running after that one as it goes into the seats. You guys are on your own out there.
He shaded up the middle. Not that he could even get there at this point.
Didn't even make a move that way. He's still hurting.
Most guys are on the bench.
Yep.
Most guys are in the clubhouse and getting some ice. Not Brandon Phillips.
So the count is 1-2. And Lucroy high in the air, right center. That'll be plenty deep to get the run home. Jay Bruce will catch it and wind it up. VR's in. And the Brewers strike first today. Sac fly, RBI for Lucroy.
Well, you get those RBIs. The Brewers had a difficult time with that on the last road trip, particularly that last game in Atlanta. The third man at third, less than 2. Lucroy able to get the job done. He got a fastball and hit it pretty well. Did you notice Billy Hamilton kind of peeled off and allowing Jay Bruce to catch it? He's got the best arm in the outfield. And it was a pretty good throw.
Here's Chris Carter now with the bases empty, 2 gone. Carter still leads the club in homers with 13. He's had 8 of those in the month of May. But he's been in, at least for Chris Carter, he's been in a bit of a home run drought here lately. Carter's last home run came on the 20th of May. That was on the last road trip in New York. That was the first game of the road trip, as a matter of fact, last Friday or Friday week ago. Homered off Steven Matz. In the air to right center. Over is Bruce, and he'll make the catch to end the inning. So Brandon Phillips survives an injury. We'll see if he's able to hang in there. Brewers take a lead, 1-0. All-star form. Not only is he producing runs, just had an RBI sac fly, but his defense, especially his throwing, he is on point. 7 consecutive would-be base stealers have been cut down, and Lucroy leads all of baseball with 19 caught stealing this season.
Yeah, 19 for 48. That's near 40%, which is considered to be very good. And you know, the fact that the opposition's running quite a bit, I don't think that's a reflection so much on Lucroy, but you know, the pitchers maybe not, you know, don't have the reputation of holding runners, but they're doing a pretty good job. I mean, that's a combination. You can't give all the credit to Lucroy. The pitching staff is giving him a chance to throw guys out. He and Maldonado have been great this year at cutting down that running game.
Now that tandem leads the major leagues in caught stealing. There's a swing and a drive by Bruce. That is way gone quickly. Jay Bruce ties it with a solo homer. He was at the plate when Phillips was thrown out last inning. Starts with a fresh count in the second inning and hammers one into the Lowe's level.
Which is why you wonder at the top of the order, 2 guys get thrown out on the bases trying to steal. But they did, and it's only a solo shot. Not to say he would have hit a home run last inning, but fastball right down the middle, about belt high, and Jay Bruce gives it a ride.
Jay Bruce with number 9.
Well, how many times have we seen that from Jay Bruce? Well, a lot.
35 to be exact. He's hit 35 career homers against Milwaukee. It's the most for Bruce against any opponent.
And not too many wall scrapers in there either.
Of the 35 homers, 13 have come here at Miller Park. Adam Duvall at the plate for Cincinnati. This is the guy that has done the damage in this series. His 3-run homer yesterday capped off that 5-run inning, tied the game at 6. Came with 2 strikes as well. A 3-run homer with 2 strikes. He's hit 2 3-run homers in this series. Has 11 for the season. He's the Reds' top home run hitter. Last year in the minor leagues he hit 30, and the big question was, would that translate to big league power, and has it ever? Traded from the Giants to the Reds last year at the trade deadline. He was involved in the Mike Leake deal. He got a pitcher today for the Reds that came from the Royals in the Johnny Cueto deal. And Duvall coming from San Francisco. Traded away some big pieces, but very similar to what the Brewers are trying to do. Rebuild and get some young talent as Nelson drills Duvall.
Been a lot of that in this series. Well, you got to pitch him inside, no doubt. I mean, in off the plate, but everything it seems like he's hit against the Brewers has come to left field. And he took a slider right down the middle in yesterday's ball game, hit the big home run. That one gets him right on the padding. That's not going to hurt too much.
Well, we had a pitcher for the Reds yesterday, Alfredo Simon, get ejected after hitting a batter, hitting the opposing pitcher, Chase Anderson, who plunked 3 yesterday. Simons was certainly intentional, and he was quickly ejected from the game. I think both of these pitching staffs know they have to pitch inside. That's a bunt in the air, diving stop. Carter, Nelson late to cover, and that's going to be a base hit for the speedy Tyler Holt.
Yeah, Jimmy a little bit late getting over there. I think he was you know, coming in to field the bunt, but that was one of those bunts by Holt that he was trying to push the ball towards second base. Not a sacrifice. He didn't get it where he wanted to, but nobody over there to cover the bag at first. Now you bunt it toward second base, and that's a pretty good way to get a base hit. Didn't put it where he wanted, but it ended up pretty good.
Holt's got a lot of speed. He was the player that attempted the straight steal of home yesterday. The moment in which his pitcher who was batting was hit by the Chase Anderson pitch. That kind of started the whole thing yesterday. He had to be sent back to third. The batter awarded first, of course, but it took a run off, or it could have been an out. If the pitch just goes through, probably would have just tagged him out as he slid home.
It would have been close, though.
2 on, nobody out, and Nelson missing inside on Ivan DeJesus Jr.
Yeah, Chase Anderson said he had no intention to try and hit Alfredo Simon, just wanted to get one up and in, which is what you're supposed to do. You got to get the hitter out of the way. You throw one up and in and give your catcher a chance to make a tag.
There were 6 hit batters yesterday. The Brewers hit 4. And the Reds plunked a couple. Base hit, right field. Late start for Duvall, but he's going to be held. And a good strong throw in from Flores. But not a good start to the inning here for Nelson. He's given up a homer, and now the bases are loaded with nobody out.
Yeah, Jimmy's already given up 5 hits, and the Reds hit him pretty well last time out at Cincinnati. That was his worst start of the year. And Jesus taking that fastball, hits it hard into right field. Location issues for Jimmy early on.
Early visit to the mound from Derek Johnson. A quick trip by the pitching coach. Nelson's been the reliable starter. Brewers starting rotation has a poor ERA overall. It's been a little better here in the second half of the month of May. But Nelson has been the constant. Comes in with an overall season ERA of 2.92. And in the month of May his earned run average at 2.70. And to your point, his hits are down, which is why it is a bit surprising he's given up 5 already. Nelson allowing fewer hits than innings pitched. He's been able to keep his walks down as well. He's going to have to grind through this one, though. A swing and a miss by Barnhart.
Well, he's in the right spot in the batting order, 8 and 9. But Barnhart swings it pretty well, although off to a slow start this year. The switch hitter.
Pitcher due up next, Brandon Finnegan. Brewers will look to turn 2 up the middle, conceding the run, and they will do just that. As we are to Hill, everybody stepped on a base, and it's a double play, but a run is in, and the Reds take a lead.
Yeah, or the new Major League Baseball, you got to be very specific. You got to make sure that you have a foot on the bag, and that cost the Brewers a game yesterday. And that slows everything down, really. I mean, it's all in an effort. You know, the slide rule has been adjusted, and to make up for that, no in the neighborhood for the middle infield. As you can see clearly that Aaron Hill has both feet on the bag at 2 different times, just to make sure.
2 outs. Here's the pitcher, Finnegan. And I thought Tom Hodgecourt in the Journal Sentinel had a great line, and I think it's accurate. Maybe harsh, but I think it's accurate at this point after what we've seen here the last few days. But baseball's lost its way a bit with replay, and I think part of it is we're evolving so fast, at least from a production side of things on television. Our cameras and our replay machines are able to see things that the human eye has not been able to see. It just, the speeds in which we're shooting these images. I mean, you can't possibly see Scooter Gennett off the bag by a fraction even 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
I mean, it's really been in the last, I'd say, just to be conservative, the last 5 years that we've gotten to the point, whether it was Phantom Cam or what we call our Dyno Cams now, that we can see these images with such clarity. It's not that umpires are missing more calls, as Finnegan grounds to short, and that will end the inning. We're just seeing it a lot better. So Nelson able to escape, bases loaded, nobody out, only gives up 1 more at that point.
In the series finale at Miller Park in the second, Brandon Phillips back on the field after crashing into the wall there in the first inning, but he will continue in this game. And certainly the topic of replay and the ending to last night's game was a big topic of conversation this morning with Craig Counsell. And much like last night, his issue was just the mechanism of Brian Price being able to challenge that play without having a challenge, just going to the review, asking the umpires to take a look at it. And he said, I do have questions about that process, and when you go to the commissioner's office and try to get an answer, it's that the umpires are trying to get that call right, and that's a difficult argument to argue against. So again, just as he said, the more that we change the rules, the cracks are going to reveal themselves, and the play yesterday was certainly an example of that.
Yeah, that was a big crack, and I think, Rock, I like your point what we talked about in the pregame show. And I think it's valid, and obviously you can split hairs on all of these calls, and you can look at all these calls as much as you want, but at some point I think it's going to be important to probably put a clock in that you're supposed to only get 30 seconds anyway, but actually put the clock up. It's already in place.
It's up there.
And it's already being used for commercials and pitching changes and whatnot, meetings to the mound. And then I think you got to hold managers accountable for the replays that they use, the challenges that they are asking for. And if you lose one, that's part of the strategy with replay, or else, because I do believe in replay, I believe it's a good thing, but I don't think it can be just the wild, wild west and you can review every single thing that happens in a game. You ought to have some kind of strategy implemented from a managerial perspective.
It's out of hand. I mean, it's not good right now, the way it's been implemented and the way managers are starting to manipulate that replay system. Perfect example yesterday in the 9th inning. I mean, the Reds are out of challenges. Why should Brian Price, or any manager for that matter, be able to go to an umpire and say, I think he missed the bag? Umpire, should say, well, I didn't have it that way. You're out of challenges. I'm not sure why that's the case, and the fact that he never really came out and told the umpires, wait a minute, I want to look at that.
Right.
He never did that. Everybody's coming off the field. The Reds are coming on the field, and it took more than 30 seconds. So baseball's got to get its act together and start figuring this stuff out. And the 30-second clock is already implemented.
Aaron Hill leads off the inning. He draws a walk.
The 30-second clock, when managers or coaches go out and talk to the pitcher, they only have 30 seconds from the time they step out of the dugout until the time they go back into the dugout. So the 30-second clock is already there. Why not start it after every single play? There it is right there. And once that clock hits 0, I mean, you're out of luck. The other thing about the replay, and this is really a big deal in yesterday's ballgame, how many people here at Miller Park yesterday knew what was going on?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah,
they're all looking up into our booth and asking us what's going on, and getting the hands up. And there's got to be a way that the umpires can relay to either the press box, the PA announcer, or even Jim Joyce himself, the crew chief, have the microphone on like the NFL and try to explain to everybody that's paying their money to watch this game what's going on the field.
Yeah, you're right. The fans here, there were over 30,000 here last night, and I'd say most of them had no idea, and we were just guessing. We do get the information, but it is a little bit delayed, so we're not quite sure. It's a little different in the NBA. Usually in the NBA you find out right away what the actual review is. I think I've done both sports and I've done the NFL as well, and you typically know faster in those two sports what exactly they are reviewing than you do in baseball. It's just the way it has functioned and the way it has operated. So, and it's one thing to relay that information through our truck and then to us so we can present it to our audience, but the people here in the stadium have no idea. Imagine the guy goes up, he gets a beer, he comes back, and now the Brewers are back on the field.
And the Brewers are down.
Right.
I thought there was a double play.
So there's a lot of things to iron out, and I will say this for baseball, and they made it very clear when replay was instituted that there have been a number of changes. Obviously, the Chase Utley rule has come in, and you think about the Buster Posey rule at the plate. The reason why the play happened yesterday with Scooter Gennett is because of what happened last year. This is a new thing where the neighborhood rule doesn't apply anymore. So it used to be a middle infielder could just get around the bag as Flores strikes out for the first down.
No, and they allowed that because base runners would come in and take them out. You're not allowed to do that anymore.
So that's why it was basically ruled as a safe call. And so these are habits that players have had forever. It's been a part of the game forever, and players have to adjust, no doubt. But I think baseball has to, and they will. I mean, baseball, especially with Rob Manfred, the new commissioner, very proactive on moving a lot of these topics forward and trying to get it right. Baseball wants to get it right as well. But there has to be more legislation on that.
And the discussion up here is not, you know, why did the Brewers lose? I mean, by the letter of the law, I mean, they got it right. But the question is, why were they able to get it right? And that's the question. Took a little bit too much time. They were out of challenges, all those things. Opened up a can of worms. That's what Craig Counsell said.
Broxton bounces to short, and this is going to turn into a double play to end the inning. And again, everybody stepped on the base. 6-4-3 it goes. 2-1. The Reds have the lead over the Brew Crew. We go to the third inning.
Come upon us. A 2-1 lead for the Cincinnati Reds. And tomorrow afternoon, the Brewers open up a 3-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals. And as a special Memorial Day bonus, the crew is extending Spring Madness for an extra day with 50% off select tickets, plus 414 concession specials for tomorrow's game.
First man up, Hamilton, and Jimmy Nelson makes a nice play. Tell you, if that gets by him with Hamilton's speed, as we've seen already, it's got a chance to be a hit. Instead, it's an out. 1-3 on the putout, and on the first pitch, an out for Jimmy Nelson in the third inning.
Yeah, very similar to his double in the first inning. This time, Jimmy able to grab it and get the out.
Nelson giving up 5 hits thus far. A home run to Bruce. Gave up 3 hits last inning and hit a batter, but after the Reds loaded the bases following the homer with nobody out, Nelson only surrendering 1 more at that time. So it's just 2-1 Reds. Joey Votto is up there with 1 out. Votto grounded out his last time up. It'll show in the scorebook a 5-3 putout, but Hernan Perez was all the way over on the right side of the infield for that ground ball. So he pulled the ground ball, and now with 2 strikes, Hernan Perez is on his way over there again. So you can't do the spray charts, Rock, based on your scorebook entry. That's what we've learned here.
Right, yeah.
In the age of shifting.
Yeah, 5-3, not necessarily a ground ball to the left side. Do you add anything to your scorebook? Oh, you don't keep one, do you?
I do keep one as Votto strikes out.
Oh, you keep one, but you don't keep them.
I don't get
Right.
Right.
So it's not like, in a week you can go back and take a look.
I remember.
You do have a good memory, I will say that.
Trust in the bean. But I'm with you, though. We talk all about replay and how the new age of baseball, this new age of shifting, too, is kind of got me reconsidering my scorebook entries here. I haven't quite dialed in on how I'm going to do this, but a 5-3 put out when a ground ball goes to the right side has left me a little bit stumped. If I put a circle around the 5, I think it'll jog my memory.
Well, just put 4-3. What's the difference? At least you know which direction. As Brandon Phillips hits the deck again on a fastball up and in.
Yeah, that's a foul ball. Well, I don't want to put 4-3 because then that's going to give Aaron Hill an assist. Yeah, right there off the bat, clearly foul.
You keep track of assists?
I don't, but I don't personally. Talk about splitting hairs now.
Right, yeah.
Come on.
Well,
now you're all over my scorebook, and that's very personal.
I don't think it matters.
0-2 to Phillips.
What you could do is in the box draw a line where the ball was hit.
Well, I do that with hits. I still do that, which makes my scorebook unreadable for most people, but I haven't quite moved yet to the ground ball scenario.
Well, it's in the circular file like what, 2 minutes after the game?
That's right. That's true. Not even 30 seconds. The 0-2 slow roller. Phillips not running at all after crashing into that wall. I can't blame him. So he's out, and that's a nice inning for Nelson. He needed that one. 3 up, 3 down with a punch out.
Now around the league, taking some news and notes with our greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. We start with Yu Darvish, who made his start last night against the Pirates, his first win since 2014, coming off of Tommy John surgery. He went 5 innings, gave up just 1 run on 3 hits, 7 strikeouts for him in the win. And Troy Tulowitzki was placed on the 15-day disabled list. For Toronto, he has a right quad strain. And the Kansas City Royals, an incredible comeback, scoring 7 runs in the bottom of the 9th against the White Sox. That's the biggest rally in Royals history. And just this afternoon, Jake Odorizzi for the Rays, he has 6 no-hit innings going against the Yankees. 5 strikeouts for him. They lead this game 1-0.
All right. Thanks, Sophia. We'll be watching that one as Alex Presley leads off. Bottom of the 3rd inning, 2-1 Reds. Jake Odorizzi was a former Brewer minor leaguer. He was involved in that Zach Greinke deal with the Royals. And the Royals making out pretty good on that deal. The Brewers cashed in quickly with Greinke coming to Milwaukee for the 2011 season, but it was Jake Odorizzi, it was Alcides Escobar, Lorenzo Cain, and Jeremy Jeffress, who all went to Kansas City in that deal.
Well, and at the time, Odorizzi was an A-ball, wasn't he? I mean, very low minor leagues, but he certainly panned out, having a nice career.
Royals ended up trading Odorizzi to Tampa Bay, and that's what helped them get James Shields. And Wade Davis, by the way, was involved in that deal. Sort of a throw-in in that deal. Shields has moved on. He's now in San Diego and back on the trade market again. Presley in the air to left. Holt will run it down. Hit it well, but the left fielder able to make the play for out number 1. Here's Jimmy Nelson now. Brandon Finnegan, speaking of former Royals. Nelson on the first pitch. Out to Jay Bruce. 2 outs. You might remember Brandon Finnegan. He was the pitcher 2 years ago when the Royals made it to the World Series, who dominated the playoffs. And as a matter of fact, he played his college ball at TCU. He went from the College World Series in June of that season to the Major League World Series in October of that season. Feat that has never been accomplished.
And maybe never will again, for that matter. Of course, you never know how quickly teams are bringing pitchers up these days, especially a lefty.
Finnegan's only 23. Came up late in the year in 2014 and then was great in the playoffs. Last year, the Royals thinking about turning him into a starter. That was always kind of the plan for them, but he pitched out of the bullpen in Kansas City, and then he was the significant piece for the Royals to get Johnny Cueto. So now he's a starting pitcher with the Cincinnati Reds this season. Made 4 starts last year with him after the trade, and this is his 11th start. All of his appearances have been starts this year with Cincinnati.
And he's pitched pretty well. I mean, he's maybe had a couple of starts that were rough, but he's been victimized by 3 blown saves. Of course, you could say that about a lot of these Reds starters, but he's lost 7 in a row. He hasn't won a game, since April.
Three balls and a strike. 2 outs for VR, and he draws the walk. So VR aboard twice today in his 2 plate appearances.
Already coming in with an on-base percentage at .400. He's been on base twice.
He is the National League stolen base leader coming in. He's been caught 6 times, but he leads the National League with 17 steals. He also leads the major leagues in stolen bases. And a good bet he'd be running here.
Pretty good move by Finnegan. Tough to get a jump on the lefty. Sometimes you go in the first move. If he goes to first, you just keep going. Takes 2 good throws to get you.
Another check on VR. Got an update there from the Tampa Bay New York game. Jake Odorizzi, as Sophia mentioned, working on a no-hitter. Starlin Castro, now a Yankee, the former Cub, just hit a 2-run home run. And the first hit of the game for the Yankees also gives them the lead. They're up 2-1. So Sophia Minert gets credit for the no-hitter jinx today. Welcome to the club, Sophia.
Yeah, we're all guilty of that.
A lot of baseball today on a Sunday afternoon across the major leagues. The night game tonight is the Dodgers and the Mets. Clayton Kershaw against Bartolo Colon. Kershaw's becoming appointment television right now. Again, he's 7-1 with a 1.48 ERA. Kershaw beat Finnegan and the Reds. Kershaw's last time out. Finnegan went 8 innings in that game. Tough to win when you draw one of the elite pitchers in the game and one of the elite pitchers in the history of the game, the way Kershaw's going. In that game, Finnegan against the Dodgers, 7 complete innings, 3 earned runs, had a walk and 11 strikeouts. I beg your pardon, went 8 innings with 1 earned run allowed. I read the wrong line.
Yeah.
My
Must-win
apologies.
game. Who do you take, Arrieta or Kershaw?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to go with Kershaw. You?
Yeah. He's been doing a lot longer, right? Been a couple of years for Arrieta.
That ball's hammered into deep left center. Hernan Perez off the top of the wall. With 2 outs, Villar running all the way. He'll try to score. It hits the mound. Villar is in. And we're tied at 2.
Well, you love Hernan Perez in your lineup. I mean, he does something every day to help you win a game, whether it be on defense and that approach that he has going right now. And we saw it last year, taking it up the middle and to the opposite field. He takes this one and hits it off the base of the fence. That was a good job out there by Billy Hamilton to play it. But the Brewers had the right guy at first base. Their fastest base runner in VR. Would have been interesting had it not hit the mound, but it did. And the Brewers tie it up. Well, a walk and a double with 2 outs. And we're all tied up.
Hernan Perez, his second double. Drives in number 12.
He's a good hitter. He really has. He's turned himself into a good hitter.
Getting the start at third base today is Perez. And now he takes off. Lucroy is going to let him run. He got a huge jump. Finnegan hardly paying attention to him. That's one of those moments when we talk about you have to know you're going to make it. And there was no doubt he was going to make it.
Yeah, nobody hold him on. It was supposed to be Phillips, but he can't move around too well. Big jump, and sometimes it's easier to steal third base against a lefty than it is second.
He's had excellent success in that category. He's 7 out of 8 in stolen base attempts this year. Runner at third with 2 away. Lucroy at the plate. Into center field, falling. Hamilton coming in. It's down. Base hit, RBI. Perez scores, and the Brewers lead 3-2. Jonathan Lucroy delivers his second RBI of the game.
Yeah, right off the end of the bat and dumps it in front of Billy Hamilton. Very interesting the way Hamilton went after that baseball. I mean, with his speed, if he busts it, I think he might be able to get there, but kind of gingerly going after it. As if he had it all the way, but it fell in front of him. Check it out. Watch him. And he's really not running all that hard after that baseball. And that's one of those where, with 2 outs and a man at third base, you got to try and dive and save your pitcher a run. He did not, and the Brewers able to take a lead. That was an interesting effort out there in center.
2-out rally for the Brewers. A walk, a double, now a single. And Lucroy has 2 RBIs, giving him 25 for the year. And now it'll be Chris Carter. Carter tops the club in homers with 13 on the Powerball home run leaderboard. Lucroy's climbing the charts with his 2 home runs in the last 2 games of this series. Now 8 of them. Braun with 9. Ryan's out of the lineup today if you're just joining us. Stiff neck. Unable to start for Counsell. Be interesting to see if he's able to use him as a pinch hitter. Braun did bat as a pinch hitter last night. So without Braun, the Brewers with 3 runs in on 3 hits. And Carter takes one inside. Threw him an off-speed pitch, changeup, and it's 2-2 now.
Yeah, it's a good pitch, good arm action on it, kept it down. You know, 2 or 3 different fastballs: sinker, 4-seamer, cutter. He's got the curveball, and there's his 3rd best pitch, the changeup.
And now the count goes full, and that's going to give Lucroy a head start at first. Brewers have scored twice in this inning. Finnegan got the first 2 men out quickly. But 3 consecutive base runners. Go time for Lucroy, the 3-2. Carter bounces one to third. Duvall will make the play to end the inning. Well, the Brewers come up with a 2-out rally. After the VR walk, Hernan Perez off the center field fence to tie it. And then Lucroy, a little flare that falls. And the Brewers have a lead, 3-2. Reds in the final game of this series. And we remind you that in honor of Memorial Day weekend, Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with emerging vets and players dedicated to ensuring our nation's warriors can be as productive off the field as they were on it by joining combat veterans with former athletes to form a common bond over dedication and teamwork. Just go to foxsportssupports.com to learn more. It's a great cause. We stand behind it 100%. Emerging vets and players. And we salute all of our members of the military and their families. And think about all those who lost their lives serving our country on this Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day tomorrow. Brewers Cardinals tomorrow. That is a 1:10 first pitch on the air at 12:30.
Yeah. And come by the Wood Cemetery tomorrow at 9:30. They have a nice ceremony to honor our nation's fallen heroes. A Memorial Day celebration, if you will.
It's right next to the ballpark. So
9:30.
Sharp.
You got to fly over. There's going to be a band over there and some very poignant words being spoken over there tomorrow at the VA.
Jonathan Lucroy in his Navy camos. His way of saluting members of the military.
I'm looking forward to that event. That's going to be fun.
I think more than anything else, it's important. You know, we're going to enjoy our time watching baseball, hanging out at the ballpark. Weather's supposed to be good. Great time to be with family and friends. Also an opportunity as Bruce pops it up, and that'll end up in the seats. It's also an opportunity to encourage all of you out there watching to try to get involved as best you can, whether it's financial contributions or volunteering your time. Try to get involved in some of the many military charities that we support here with the Brewers, and make sure you're doing your part.
Yeah, we got the Fisher House, which is a great thing, and houses families of veterans getting treatment at the VA Center. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight, the USO, Wounded Warriors. There's a lot of things you can get involved in.
And we're looking forward to our broadcast tomorrow. We can shine a light on many of those military charities. Nelson comes back, strikes out Bruce.
Boy, that's a good slider right there, right under his bat. One of those back foot sliders to get the big lefty. Well, Bruce picked on a first pitch fastball and hit it out of the ballpark, and he's not going to do much with that. That's a nice pitch. Actually, curveball, not slider. You see that knuckle curve.
I'm with you, though. That is a hard curveball. That had some hiss on it. Good pitch by Nelson. That's a pitch he developed last year. Duvall lines one to center. Man, you got to get this guy out of town.
Yeah, this guy's swinging the bat nice.
Hit by pitch his last time up. He singles to center with one out in the fourth.
Not just a pull hitter. Well, when you're seeing the ball well, you've got confidence. You're waiting back. You don't feel like you need to start that bat too soon, and very quick to the baseball. Hits a bullet into center. It's a good feeling when you're up there at the plate, just knowing that you can wait back. Your hands do the work, and you're going to hit something hard just about every time up.
That'll bring up Tyler Holt. Nelson in there with a strike. The speedy Holt reached on an infield hit. He bunted for a single his last time up.
Some players have that feeling every day they come to the ballpark.
Yeah. Most don't.
Most don't. 99% don't.
Chopper, VR waiting on it, gloves it, fires it to first in time. A double play. Holt can really run. VR very patient. Boy, that ball was in and out of his glove with his foot on the bag like a flash. Oh yeah, nothing to review there. Inning over, double play. Jimmy Nelson fired up. Brewers lead it. 2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th from beautiful Miller Park on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Carsoup.com trivia today prior to yesterday. When was the last time both starting pitchers hit each other in an MLB game? And we give you a multiple choice on that one. Brian Mikologic in graphics. Feeling generous today. A, B, or C, 03, 13, or 15? Prior to yesterday. It's a good question. 33% chance to be correct. I really don't remember.
I don't know.
So I'll go with B.
I'm going with A. Why would you throw 2003 in there?
Oh, you feel like it's a bit of a random year.
Yeah.
Okay. You're thinking like the questioner. It's good. Is that the way you took your SATs?
I had somebody else take them.
And the NCAA on line 4 for Bill Schroeder.
Too late.
It's funny.
Not true, though.
Aaron Hill in the right center. Jay Bruce going back. And with room, he makes a catch for the out.
I earned my $8.50. I mean, there was a lot of pressure on me to get into that place of higher learning. Clemson, I mean, not easy to get in there.
Is that right?
Yeah. Harvard of the South.
Okay. There's a lot of things I'd like to say about that, but
don't hold back.
We're moving on. Here's Ramon Flores. Look out inside. Almost hit him. Brandon Finnegan giving up 2 runs with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. 1 ball, 1 strike to Flores.
Was Texas an SAT or ACT state?
SAT.
Right.
Yep. I remember all 3 of them well. Fly ball to center. And Flores is out. 2 up and 2 down. What do you got there, Rock?
Hey, this summer free shirt Fridays are back on Friday, June 10th. All fans at Miller Park for the Brewers matchup with the Mets will get a Bernie Chalet t-shirt courtesy of CertaPro Painters. Visit Brewers.com to reserve your spot today.
We might need a little explanation on what this image actually is. There's a generation of fans that don't know.
Right, that used to be Bernie's slide back in Old County Stadium. You used to slide into a big mug of beer. Don't say it. I know what you're thinking.
No, that's it. That's
show some restraint.
Had a chalet. It's where he lived, and
yeah, and
he slid down after home runs, right, and that was modified a little bit when they moved into Miller Park.
Right into a mug of beer. Is that wrong?
Now he just slides into, what are we calling that? Just
landing
kind of
zone.
It's like a landing area.
Yeah.
And there's a little steam that comes up. It's very theatrical. Not saying it's worse, not saying it's better.
Just different.
It's just different. And it's got a logo on it. It's one of the first things your eyes go to when you walk into Miller Park. Bernie with that permanent grin on his face. Always in a good mood. You ever seen Bernie not smile?
I have not. No. He's got his handler up there.
He's ready to slide. I think he's feeling a home run soon. Could use a haircut, though. He's getting a little shaggy. Still smiling, though. And Bernie's chalet here at Miller Park is underneath the legendary home run call of Bob Uecker. So it all makes sense. Get up, get out of here, gone. And when that happens for a Brewer player, then Bernie slides down the slide. Broxton strikes out, and the inning is over. 3 up and 3 down for Finnegan. Reds Brewers today, 3-2 Milwaukee.
Sunday afternoon, the Brewers have a 3-2 lead here in the 5th. And in our Crew in the Community today, each year the Milwaukee Brewers take time out to remember Joe Lubar, the son of David and Madeline Lubar, investors of the team. In honor of Joe, the Lubars have set up the United Way Basic Needs Fund, and the Brewers and BCF are proud to continue this tradition.
Great way to remember Joe. Appreciate that, Sophia. Here we go to the 5th now. Jimmy Nelson back on the mound. He is facing Ivan De Jesus Jr. Strike one. Looks like Jimmy starting to settle in now. Had a rough second inning. Matter of fact, he gave up 5 hits in the first 2 innings, but has retired or faced only 8, I should say, the minimum, since giving up the last hit to Ivan De Jesus Jr. There was a single in that grouping, but Nelson got a double play ball to win the inning last inning. A ground ball foul. Son of a big leaguer, Ivan De Jesus Jr. His dad, longtime major leaguer, 15-year big league career. He's an infielder, a shortstop. First start of the series for Ivan. There's a breaking ball. Steve Reich. De Jesus knew it.
He's got that one working for him all of a sudden. Last inning he struck out Jay Bruce, and now he catches De Jesus looking at that big hook.
Third strikeout for Jimmy Nelson.
And you see that pitch going straight down, and well done by Jimmy.
So 1 away. Here is Tucker Barnhart now, switch hitting Reds catcher, batting 8th. He bounced into a key double play in the second inning. The Reds had a run in and the bases loaded with nobody out, and Barnhart grounded into a double play. A run did score, but that was the rest of the damage for Jimmy Nelson. He was able to get the pitcher, the next batter, to end the inning, and then the Brewers scored twice in the 3rd inning to take the lead. Both of those runs coming with 2 outs. So that's where we sit here in the 5th. 3-2 Milwaukee. 1 gone in the Cincinnati 5th. Jimmy Nelson by inning had that long first inning, even though he faced only 3 batters. Officially gave up 2 hits. There were 2 outs on the bases by the Reds in that first. High fly ball, shallow left. VR is out, Presley's in, and the left fielder will make the catch for out number 2. Let's check in with Sophia. She's got more on Jimmy Nelson.
Yeah, Jimmy Nelson coming into this start had gone deep into outings over his last 3. He had gone 8, 7 1/3, and then 6 in his most recent outing against the Braves. And Nelson told me that as a staff, one thing that they're trying to do is, he said, we just feel like we're doing our homework better this second month of the season. And by that he meant the way that we're studying hitters, the way that we're trying to use our strengths against them, pouring more into the scouting reports. He said we feel like we're developing more of a game plan, and as a staff have been doing a better job of executing that on the mound.
Well, and you also have to think about, as there's a liner by Finnegan to end the inning. Got a first-year pitching coach too. Has not been a pitching coach in the big leagues, so it has evolved, and Nelson has thrived this year. Got another 3-up, 3-down inning. Baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. 3-2 Milwaukee. The Brewers scored twice in the third to take the lead here. Big crowd on hand to see this one. And we remind you to stream the Brewers on the go this year. You can stop by the Fox Sports Go booth on Wednesday, June 1st. Brewers will be taking on the Cardinals. You can download the app, get a free prize, and visit the Fox Sports Wisconsin website, foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the upcoming events tab for details. Cardinals are coming in tomorrow, a 3-game series. Business at hand here today with the Reds as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. And Alex Presley will lead off for Milwaukee. 3-2 Brewers. Brandon Finnegan coming off his 8-inning 1-run appearance against the Dodgers in LA last time out.
Man, a game he lost. They lost 3-1. He's been a tough luck pitcher out there for the Reds this year, no doubt. Good earned run average.
Matched up against Clayton Kershaw, who finished that game on Monday. Curveball strike to Presley. 0-2. Jimmy Nelson pitching well. Gave up a couple of runs in the 2nd inning, but not much sense. Matter of fact, he's only allowed 1 hit, a single, since that time, and he's faced the minimum. He's been able to get 2 double plays, key double plays, especially the first one in the 2nd inning. Jimmy will hit next. Presley lines one. That is fair. Hits the side wall right back to Holt. Presley into second with a double. Alex Presley, a leadoff double in the 5th for Milwaukee.
Yeah, lefty versus lefty, hanging right in there. Didn't try and pull it. That was on an 0-2 pitch. Man, Finnegan with a fastball up and away, and just nice, neat, nice, easy stroke right down that left field line, and would have been a double anyway. In the corner would have been a double. And Presley in with a double to lead off the 5th. That's a nice approach.
And now Jimmy Nelson probably up there to bunt. Top of the order coming up next. Brewers try to add to their lead. And Nelson squares early. Takes a strike. Corner infielders creeping in on Nelson. Trying to bunt this one to third base if possible. And he bunts it foul. 0-2 the count. It's been a point of pride for Brewer pitching. Last couple of years, try to be better at the plate. Try to affect the game offensively as best you can. They take their batting practice sessions very seriously. There's a lot of little competitions that they put in place while they take BP.
And Brewers have 15 sacrifice bunts. That's in the upper half of the National League.
And Nelson able to get it down. Finnegan, his only play is first. Phillips is there. Sacrifice bunt, beautifully done. And the Brewers have a runner at third with 1 out.
Well, you do the little things, and that helps you win ball games. And advancing base runners, getting these RBIs with a man at third, less than 2 outs. Scratch and claw for some runs, not necessarily always waiting for the home run.
See Jonathan Villar at the plate today, presented by Blaze Pizza. Villar has scored 2 runs, had a single and a walk. Playing the role of run producer now. 1 for 1 today. He's pushed his batting average to .303. And his 2 trips on base has pushed his on base percentage to .403. And then you throw in a .423 slugging percentage. Add those two, that is an OPS of 826.
And that's a good start to the season, bottom line.
And a line shot into center field, base hit. Presley is in as Jonathan Villar delivers. The Brewers add to their lead. It's now 4-2 Milwaukee.
Just swinging the bat with a lot of confidence, doing everything out there with a lot of confidence. Not trying to pull it. Hits a line drive into center field. Right down the middle. Our Badger Mutual Insurance run of the game. And Jonathan Villar single into center, giving the Brewers a 4-2 lead.
Presley started the inning with a double. He was moved to third on the bunt, driven in by Villar. And now Hernan Perez takes a strike. See that that brace or that sleeve that Villar's wearing? Colorful flower arrangement. It is Mother's Day in the Dominican Republic.
Is that right?
So a lot of the Dominican players are honoring their moms with such gear. So Willie Peralta around the clubhouse in pink shoes earlier today. Stand up, Willie. One ball, one strike, and a foul out of play. 1-2 to Perez. He smashed one off the center field wall in the third. RBI double, came with 2 outs. And then he stole third base. Ended up scoring on a base hit by Lucroy. Keeps hitting.
Yeah, Brewers manufacturing runs nicely today. Sacrifice bunts, sacrifice flies.
Hernan with the double, showing the power. Added some slugging percentage to his offensive game this season. Drove in the run and then was able to steal third. He drove in the tying run. He scored the go-ahead run on the Lucroy base hit. Been active today, and he's played a nice third base.
And Perez over 300 for the season.
Well, he's hitting .317. On base percentage is a story, nearly .360. And an OPS of 882. And so you're looking at a couple of guys at the top of the order that are very productive, hitting for extra base hits, getting on base a lot.
And Perez actually hits better against right-handed pitching than left. You know, lefties 242 coming into today's game, and check this out. Hernan Perez against right-handed pitching, 393.
Makes you wonder why that is.
Sometimes some hitters are going to open up a little bit too soon against lefties. Ball coming into them all the time, and against right-hand, you just stay close. You drive the ball to the opposite field, and it's a little bit more comfortable for you, particularly when you're not playing every single day.
Perez was taken off the major league roster last year. He decided to sign with the Brewers, re-sign with them on a minor league deal. As he waves and misses a strikeout.
And a lot of fastballs from Brandon Finnegan today. He's thrown some change-ups. You know, when you say fastball, you're talking about 3 different ones: cut, sink, 4-seam.
So that'll set the stage for Lucroy here with 2 outs. Yesterday, Lucroy launched one out of here, his Powerball home run number 8. High towering fly ball into the Brewer bullpen. At the time gave Milwaukee a 4-1 lead that they would surrender in the 7th. What a month for Lucroy as far as the power goes. Went through a long slump on the last road trip. So the batting average a little low in May, but all of his home runs have come in the month of May.
He's got that average still at 288. Yeah, he was 2 for 22 on the road trip. But the Brewers still able to win 3 out of 6.
The Brewers swept the Braves in 3 and then won the first game of this series. Those are the numbers for the May homers. Duvall, the Reds' third baseman today, leads the way with 9. And then you got Carter and Lucroy with 8. Carter has not hit a homer in 9 days. Still near the top of that leaderboard. VR takes off the pitch in the dirt. And VR has another stolen base.
They picked the right pitch. Off speed down and no chance. Uncontested stolen base for VR. Good jump and no chance for Barnhart. Pitch was in the dirt.
That is his major league leading 18th stolen base.
Looked like a changeup.
Yeah, it was. Good call. Instantly in scoring position for Lucroy. He's got a 3-0 count. Does he swing away here? He does not. He takes ball 4. And the Brewers have him at first and second for Chris Carter. That's going to bring a visit from the Cincinnati pitching coach, Mark Riggins. In the Reds bullpen, Dion Diaz is getting loose.
Yeah, bullpen for the Reds pressed into action very early yesterday when Alfredo Simon got thrown out of the game. That was in the 5th. Brewers got to the bullpen early when they came in, but back end of the bullpen for the Reds yesterday, very good.
Well, Chris Carter trying to get loose here in the final game of this series. Been a struggle for him. He is now 0 for 10. He's had a few line drive outs, a couple that have chased outfielders back to the wall, but so far nothing to show for it. 2 on, 2 out, 4-2 Brewers. We play in the bottom of the 5th. Carter is 3rd in the National League in extra base hits, tied for 3rd in homers. And he pops this one up. Long run. Bruce is coming in. Brandon Phillips is out, and he's got it to end the inning. So the Brewers strand 2, but they score a run on an RBI single by VR. 4-2 Brewers now after 5. 4-2 Milwaukee. Beautiful Sunday here in Brewtown. Our Carssuit.com trivia prior to yesterday, when was the last time both starters hit each other in an MLB game? Simon and Chase Anderson. And you were right, Rock. It was 2003. Dan Herron and Matt Clement of the Cubs. The old Cubs-Cardinals rivalry.
Yeah. I mean, look at those 3 dates. I mean, come on. I mean, why would you throw 2003? And he was giving it to you.
03, the multiple choice question was 03, 13, and 15.
Yeah, I mean.
I didn't see the pattern there. I did not get the cheat code on that one. But you did. You're an excellent crossword puzzle.
No, I'm actually terrible, but I do pretty good at multiple choice.
Well, Jimmy Nelson back to work here in the 6th. Top of the Reds order with Hamilton leading off. So it'll be the key inning for Nelson. Pitch count at 74, and you think about where he was after the first 2 innings. And he's been able to get it back in order here with his last 3. Nelson had a 25 pitch first inning, 17 in the second. So he's sitting there with 42 pitches after the first 2 innings, and it's starting to look like a short day for Nelson, but he's been good since.
Yeah, faced the minimum over the last 3 innings.
And that's an opening walk to Billy Hamilton, and with the Brewers up 2, it's going to bring the tying run to the plate. And now Nelson's going to have to go through the heart of this order and all the big names for the Reds.
Yeah, and the first walk of the day for Jimmy Nelson. He's done a nice job throwing strikes.
Joey Votto. A ground out and a strikeout today. 0 for 2. I'm curious to see if Hamilton is a runner right now, down 2 runs.
Oh yeah, he's always a runner, isn't he? I mean, you don't take that guy out of his game. He doesn't get thrown out all that often. Although Maldonado and Lucroy both have thrown him out.
Lucroy has a streak going right now of 7 straight caught stealing. Votto swings early.
Actually threw Billy Hamilton out in Cincinnati to end a game.
Nelson has induced 2 double plays today. He'd love another one here with a man on. Hamilton looks like he wants to run. Nelson, sensing that, throws over.
Well, you try your best to keep him close and keep him a little bit off balance, but you don't want to spend too much time worrying about him. He's one of those guys that he's going to get his stolen bases. It's the other guys you got to keep from stealing bases. Concentrate on that hitter.
Votto, ground ball up the middle, slow roller. Villar, did he get the tag on? He did, and the throw to first in time for a double play. Boy, what a play that was by Villar.
Now let's see if Brian Price wants to take a look at it. Billy Hamilton thinks he missed him.
Call on the field by the second base umpire Marvin Hudson is out. And if this goes for 2 and Villar's confident it is, this is going to be one of the best he's had this year. Look at this.
Get him on the ankle, maybe. He got him on the foot if he got him anywhere. Still able to get the out at first base. Here you go. I don't know.
That's tough.
He missed the foot. I thought he got the foot, but no. Does he get the arm? Nope. I think that might get overturned.
And I think Craig Counsell's, maybe his point is he out of the baseline? And is that, what's the order of review here?
Right.
So that's what Counsell's asking Marvin Hudson, the second base umpire, if he's out of the baseline.
not sure if you can consider him out of the baseline. Avoiding. It's the direct line where he started to second base. You have 3 feet either way. It didn't appear that. I tell you, it didn't appear that VR tagged Billy Hamilton. Now, if they say he's out of the baseline, that might be a different story.
Well, we don't know what they're actually reviewing now. We'll pass that along as soon as we know. But this goes to your point while they're doing this. This goes to your point earlier. It'd be great for someone to make an announcement or allow the fans here to know and allow us to know. We usually get word. So, and we've gotten word now, just now, that the Reds are the ones challenging that he's out or safe. So it's not the Brewers challenging a baseline.
I mean, why would they be challenging it? Because the call was out. The Brewers not going to challenge that. It's got to be the Reds. They want that overturned to have Billy Hamilton at second base with 1 out.
No, good point. The order has to be the Reds first. If it's overturned, which it might be,
then you can go to the out of the baseline thing.
And so can they just take a look at it all in one review, or we got to go back through the whole process again?
Well, it would be nice if they do it all at once.
Well, the headsets are coming off.
They're having some kind of explanation for the fans here at the ballpark.
What do we have? Safe is the call.
And no out of the baseline.
So the call is overturned.
Yeah, it didn't look like VR applied a tag. So Brian Price keeps his challenge. Not that it matters. We're in the 6th inning, and anything after the 7th inning and on. Apparently you get anything reviewed you want.
Hamilton right away saying he didn't touch me. A good try by VR. That's a good base running move by Hamilton too.
Yeah, very nimble.
So he's at second, 1 out. Brandon Phillips at the plate. One thing all these challenges and these reviews have done here at Miller Park, it has really opened the door for Dean Roscoe, the organ player. I mean, he is on top of his game right now.
He's shining. He really is.
He's got a whole playlist of review songs. And if you're really lucky, he'll get into the ABBA routine.
He'll do that once in a while.
Yeah, that cheers rock up.
Yes, it does.
Little Dancing Queens always works.
That cheer anybody up.
I mean, there are very few people that look forward to reviews and challenges, but you can't say everybody's against it, because Dean Roscoe, it's created a window for him
to stage
to really shine. He's back there behind the glass. We don't like to reveal his identity. We don't want him to get mobbed out there in the streets of Milwaukee. Nelson trying to grind his way through the 6th. Leadoff walk. Just got a ground ball out on Votto, who's 0 for 3 today. And Brandon Phillips at the plate. And he popped him up. Back is Hill. And there is out number 2. So Phillips, who singled in the 1st, is now 1 for 3.
Yeah, it's got to be affecting him swinging the bat. It really has. I mean, when you have a leg issue and you just don't have that good foundation, the legs start everything in the swing. It's the left leg, I believe, that is the one that's bothering Phillips, and just doesn't have a whole lot of power behind that swing.
Shaking his head, knowing he's not right. Got to give him credit for hanging in there, though. He can still impact the game. He's still a presence at the plate, certainly defensively. Well, here comes a trouble spot here for Jimmy Nelson. Jay Bruce as the tying run. Fastball. Bruce pounced on a fastball in the second inning and launched it into the bleachers on the Loge level in right field. Solo homer. That tied the game at 1. Nelson came back in the 4th and he struck him out. Missed with a breaking ball. This was the leadoff homer in the second, and Jay Bruce wasting no time. His 35th career homer against Milwaukee. Even the score at 1 apiece. The Reds would score another run in that inning to take a lead. And then the Brewers got 2 in the 3rd, added 1 in the 5th.
And Billy Hamilton just went to third base. Uncontested. Not sure if that is a fielder's choice, indifference, or what that's called. We're going to give him a stolen base. I'm not sure why. Nobody really cared if he stole anyway. Nobody holding him on. Perez not even close to third. How's that a stolen base?
You weren't asking me right there, were you?
No, rhetorical.
1-2 pitch in the dirt. Good play by Lucroy.
You know, it's interesting when you know, they rule it indifference or a stolen base. And apparently the score doesn't matter, because we've seen on a number of occasions where the score is pretty close. I mean, what Brewer there is holding him on? Just walks on into third base. Nobody cares. If that's not indifference, I don't know what is.
I'm indifferent about the whole thing.
Even the discussion.
That's a BI. Broadcaster indifference. He is at third with 2 outs. And Bruce takes ball 3. Well, you got a couple of dangerous hitters to deal with if Bruce reaches, and then Adam Duvall will bat. He's been the best the Reds have had in this series. So pick your poison here if you're Jimmy Nelson. Full count, 2 outs. And he missed. Went with a breaking ball. He lost him.
And same pitch that he struck him out on his last time up. And now you get to one of the hottest hitters in this lineup.
Adam Duvall has had 3-run homers in each of the first 2 games of this series. His 3-run homer yesterday tied the game, part of that 5-run inning and comeback for Cincinnati. Now he's up there with 2 on again, this time with 2 outs. The major league leader in home runs for the month of May, Adam Duvall. On base twice today. Nelson hit him in the second. He singled last time up. He waves and pops this one up. Lucroy will give it a look. It's coming back. Lucroy's there, and the inning is over. A first pitch foul pop. Duvall is out, and the Reds strand 2. Brewers up 4-2. We go to the bottom of the 6th.
bottom of the 6th inning. Sunday, June 12th is Barking Bobble Hank Day at Miller Park. All fans in attendance for the Crew's matchup with the defending National League champion New York Mets will get a special barking bobblehead of Hank. The ballpark pup, of course, courtesy of Palermo's Frozen Pizza.
I've never heard Hank bark. He's the most chill dog I've ever been around in my life. So that's going to be interesting.
Got the talking alarm clock they're giving away. You got the barking Hank.
Nothing tops the talking alarm clock, by the way. Aaron Hill leads off. 4-2 Brewers as we play in the bottom of the 6th. When is this? When are they giving this alarm clock away, though? That's what I can't remember. I think it's later in the year, right?
Let me look it up. You want me to look it up? Are you wondering how long you have to keep it here? You want to take it home, don't you?
I do. I'd like to get this bedside as soon as possible. It's the Bob Uecker talking alarm clock. We have that here all the time. Can you hear it?
No.
Get up!
Oh yeah.
Get out of bed! It's late!
It's a base hit. Works every time. It's like an alarm clock for base hits.
We got in trouble last time we did that.
Now I figured it out. Aaron Hill with a single. You can thank Bob Uecker's talking alarm clock for that. And here is Ramon Flores.
You know what? I'm not going to look it up. I don't know where to find it. I gave up.
That's okay. It's Sunday.
You know what? I got a pocket schedule here. They got all that.
Well, you haven't given up then.
No. Sunday, July 10th.
All right. Way to see it through, Rock.
Bob Uecker alarm clock. All fans courtesy of Toyota.
Well, we got a solid 6 weeks with this thing then, right? It's not the only feature of the Bob Uecker part.
At the bell.
That's the bell. That's when you really need to get up. That's the bell. But I like the Uecker voice myself. I asked if you know, since Bob Uecker's representative, you and I could have some kind of alarm clock at some point. I mean, that'd be kind of cool to have. And you know what the response was? Yeah, we're going to put you and Rock's voice on there as the snooze button. We are held in high regard.
Putting people to sleep. All right.
There's a grounded to Votto. He fires to second out there, and the return throw is dug out and in time. That was some play by Votto.
Yeah, the Brewers are going to want to take a look at that one. That is a good play by Votto. It took him a while to get ready to make that throw to second. And then he's able to get back.
Might have to roll that again.
Well,
that's a good look at it.
Well, he kind of like he got it in the glove and hit the side of the glove, and then he caught it. So what is it? When the ball hits the glove, or
as soon as it makes contact with the leather?
And watch the leather. It kind of double takes here, there, and then rolls up. So it looks like he might be out.
He's out. He is out. Three, 6-3 double play. No challenge for Craig Counsell. We are in a challenge binge right now.
Or at least
Major League Baseball.
You know, the Heisman move by the managers. Hold up, wait.
Yeah. I do like that rule better. That was one modification. Used to be when replay first came in, the manager had to run out to the calling umpire or an umpire and stand on the field. So it'd take a little time to run on the field, and then the manager would stand out there in the middle of the diamond and look back into the dugout. And so they wiped all that nonsense out, which is good.
Yeah, don't need that.
Now you can just stand at the top. It's a fluid situation.
Nothing's perfect.
Except us. Keon Broxton with 2 outs. Now 3-0.
Give him the green light here. Let him knock one out of here. 2 outs, nobody on. Why not?
Broxton had his first multi-hit game of his career on Friday night. Had his first extra base hit Friday as well. And there's ball 4, so he's on. And with 2 outs, speed on the bases for Alex Presley. Brewers scored twice in the 3rd inning with 2 outs, and it all began with a 2-out walk that put him in the lead. Presley with a double his last time up. Slapped one down the left field line, just fair. They don't use chalk anymore, but had they used chalk, it would have raised some chalk.
Yeah, right. It was on an 0-2 pitch. Hung in there nicely.
That's paint. Speaking of the field, by the way, this place is immaculate.
Yeah, it is.
Michael Betcher and his crew, they deserve a lot of praise.
It was a rough spring, too. He had some harsh weather to deal with. Still looks great.
Presley tied up with a fastball.
A lot of cold weather, a lot of snow.
Hardest working people in Major League Baseball. Members of the grounds crew. You could eat off that grass. Not a blade out of place. It is perfect. Finnegan coming to the end of his day as well. Pitch number 99. Reds have activity in their bullpen. And a ground ball. Jam shot out to short. De Jesus makes the play to end the inning. So Brandon Finnegan gets through 6. Jimmy Nelson through 6. See if he comes back out for the 7th. His team leads it 4-2.
Out for the 7th inning for the Brewers as they lead this one 4-2 over the Reds. We check in our minor league report. Brett Phillips is back with the Biloxi Shuckers. He spent some time on the disabled list with a hamstring injury. Yesterday made his first start. He went 3 for 5, 3 singles. So picking up right where he left off. He has a .267 average, 6 home runs, 26 RBIs. The Biloxi Shuckers will play later tonight, and Will Smith has joined them. He's expected to pitch for them in their game later tonight.
All right, thanks a lot, Sophia. Biloxi's off tomorrow, so they're going to drum up a simulated game for Will Smith tomorrow, so he can pitch in back-to-back days. And then we'll see Will Smith probably, if everything checks out, pitch again in Philadelphia. Will be his first outing of the season for the Brewers if it all goes well. Tyler Holt leads off. Nelson back on the mound to start his 7th inning. This will be pitch number 90. And Nelson surrendering just the 2 runs. He's had some base runners on behind him, but only 2 runs given up. He's pitching well once again. And I think today, regardless of how he works here in the 7th, but today's the day that impresses you about where Jimmy Nelson is in the career arc, because I don't think he had his stuff early, and he was able to
found it though, didn't
minimize the damage.
I mean, he found his curveball as the game went on, and that's what good pitchers do. You don't always have your great stuff all day long, but Jonathan Lucroy forced him to keep throwing those breaking pitches, and started to come around.
It's the true sign of an ace that you can work through jams when you don't have your A game. And the longer this game has gone on, Nelson has found his A game. Specifically that curveball that Rock mentioned. That's been a game changer for him.
And 92 pitches, and Craig Townsend would love to see him get through 7. Of course, Derek Johnson wouldn't mind it either.
Especially with Nelson's spot in the batting order due to lead off in the bottom of the 7th. He just made a big pitch to get out of the 6th, though. He had Duvall, the hottest hitter at the plate, with 2 on. And Duvall, on the first pitch, popped it up into foul territory. Boy, that is a bonus for a pitcher. Get a hot hitter out quickly.
On 1 pitch.
2-2 to Holt. And down he goes. Nelson with a punch out.
Yeah, good slider right there, and Holt fooled by that one. He was bailing out, and that pitch caught plenty of the plate. Look at it. Look at that. You talk about bailing out. See ya.
I mean, imagine how good his stuff is that a big league hitter jumps like that and it spins back over the plate. One gone. Here's DeJesus Jr.
That's a particularly effective pitch right there, when you know as a hitter that guy on the mound is going to come inside on you once in a while. And Jimmy not afraid to come inside. He will hit batters. And nothing wrong with that. If you're trying to establish inside, just don't want to leave him out over the plate.
Wave and a miss. 0-2 the count. Started him with a slow curveball, the get over curveball. Then he came back with a slider. And now we'll see what he has in mind for DeJesus. Nelson sitting on 4 strikeouts. He's walked 2 and hit a batter. Slider again. That one missed. Still throwing that slider hard, though. That came in at 87. Big and strong Jimmy Nelson at 6'6". He's turned it into a horse for the Brewers. An ace. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. He went right back to the slider. And back-to-back strikeouts in this 7th inning. 5 punch-outs for Jimmy.
Yeah, that one's not exactly where he wanted that pitch. It was up, down the middle and up, and DeJesus behind it. Swings right through it, right underneath.
42 pitches after the first 2 innings. And now Nelson with a chance to get through 7. This is number 99 on the way to Tucker Barnhart. He swings in the air to center. Broxton turns and runs at the track. He's got it. The inning is over. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Nelson. And the Brewers lead it 4-2. Well, we turn it over to our friends over in the PA booth. Miller Park's presentation of God Bless America. Enjoy.
Services.
America, land that I love, stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam, God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Bottom of the 7th inning, it was a Jay Bruce homer that tied this game after the Brewers had scored in the first inning, all even at 1. That was in the second, and then Cincinnati added another one in that second inning. But then the Brewers with 2 outs played it 2. Hernan Perez with a double that scored VR, who had walked with 2 outs. And then Jonathan Lucroy comes up and he delivers a single and an RBI. So 2 runs were in. The Brewers took the lead. Jimmy Nelson has been on point since. 7 innings, 2 runs. He struck out 5. He's only walked 2, and he is leading off here in the bottom of the 7th inning, which might give you the idea that he's going back out for the 8th pitch count at 99.
And the bullpen empty. Nothing going on. Not empty, but nobody throwing. Plenty out there, but they're all sitting down.
Nelson coming off a 3-up 3-down inning with 2 strikeouts. Has really turned this game around for himself after some early struggles and a lot of pitches. He gave up 5 hits in the first 2 innings, and he's only given up 1 since.
Yeah, Reds really did him a big favor by making 2 outs on the bases in the first inning.
Nelson cuts and misses, and down he goes for a strikeout. Finnegan's 4th. Both of these managers rolling their starters out there. And now that Nelson is gone, Ryan Price will make a pitching change.
Explain that one to me.
If he's that close to a pitch count, why not just have the reliever start? Well, he has his reasons. So Finnegan's out. He goes 6 1/3. And here comes Diaz. We'll take a break. Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Miller Park, Milwaukee on a beautiful Sunday. And we're in the 7th inning. Brandon Finnegan is out. His manager let him go out to face the pitcher. He got him out, picked up his 4th strikeout, and he will exit and will remain winless since mid-April. Dion Diaz is now in his 4th appearance of the season. We saw him on Friday night.
Yeah, gave up a home run to Aaron Hill. An inning of work, 3 hits, 1 run. That was a home run by Aaron Hill in that game. 8 relievers for Brian Price and the Cincinnati Reds. They need every one of them. They go through them pretty quickly.
Jonathan VR has had another terrific day. On base 3 times, 2 singles and a walk. He scored twice. He drove in a run with a single in the 5th inning. Stole a base in that inning as well.
You know, the only thing I can think about with Brian Price sending Finnegan out there, he's thinking perhaps Craig Counsell might pinch hit for the pitcher, have him go out there, and knowing that Braun's banged up, Maldonado the other catcher, probably not going to use him, so he's thinking he's probably going to be running out a left-handed pinch hitter if he sends up Diaz. So kind of makes some sense. Trying to think as the Cincinnati manager a little bit.
That seems like a logical explanation. It's a little rare, though, to see a pitcher go out, face one batter, blows him away. Pitch count was at 103. I mean, there could be a lot of things that go into that, I guess.
Yeah.
Trying to get Finnegan to pitch a little deeper into the game. You buy 1 more out. This is going to be a walk. VR is on base for the 4th time today. 2 walks, 2 hits.
Hey, today's time of the game winner, Schoolhouse Bar in Mountain, Wisconsin. It's up there on the other side of the lake, Green Bay, from Door County. Not a whole lot going on out there, but hey, Schoolhouse Bar is there. If they call the Brewers by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, even on Memorial Day, somebody will answer. They'll get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite beer pen. It's offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Say hi to all of our friends in Mountain. Hoping you're enjoying your day of leisure.
It's a nice rural area is basically what I was trying to say.
When you're saying that there's nothing going on,
I mean,
that's
not
what
a big,
you mean.
not a big city.
Yeah, just a town. Perez shows bunt, gets it down, and the only play is first. So Perez with a sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, that was a bunt for a base hit that turned into a sacrifice. You could see he showed bunt very late, trying to roll one down the third baseline, but he'll get credit with a sacrifice. But definitely a bunt for a base hit. This is not trying to give yourself up, and just deadened it a little bit too much.
A lot of spin when it hit the ground. It was interesting how it checked up. So he'll get a sack for it. He's 1 for 3 today with a double and an RBI, and that sets up Lucroy with VR at second base. Brewers try to tack one on here in the 7th inning. Lucroy with 2 RBIs in this one. Only 1 official at bat for Lucroy. That was a single and an RBI in the 3rd. 2-out RBI hit in that inning. Had a sac fly in the 1st, walked in the 5th. He is 1 for 1 with 2 runs batted in. Oh, and 2 the count. Lucroy to right. That is down. A base hit. Going to get into the corner. VR will score. Lucroy thinking about third. He's on his way. And it's an RBI triple for the Brewer catcher. 5-2 Milwaukee.
And nice piece of hitting on a hanging slider for Lucroy on an 0-2 count. Boy, and Diaz making a big mistake on an 0-2 pitch. And Lucroy goes right with it. Tucks it inside that right field line, and by the time Jay Bruce gets to it, the Brewers catcher able to get all the way around to third base, right down the middle of the plate, and Lucroy drives in another run. Now a 3-run lead.
We saw that ball get stuck in the corner, and he kicked it into his 5th gear. All the way around for a triple, his 2nd triple of the season. He's there with 2 outs. Carter at the plate. Little half swing. He goes, says Jim Joyce. Brewers scored 2 in the 3rd with 2 outs. They get another one here in the 7th with 2 outs. Those are backbreakers for the opposition. And when you figure it in as a 2-out 0-2 base hit RBI,
even worse, right? He just spun that slider up there and right down the middle, and Lucroy does what he does so well, taking it to right field.
No balls, 2 strikes on Carter. Good block by Barnhart. 5-2 Milwaukee. Brewers are trying to win this series, make it back-to-back series victories, and 3 of the last 4 series that they have won. Greg Council's team got swept in New York, but I think at the end of that series felt like they could have easily won 2, maybe 3. Broken bat, little flare to center, and Hamilton will make the catch to end the inning. Jonathan Lucroy having a day today. 3 runs batted in. An RBI triple with 2 outs in the 7th gives Milwaukee a 5-2 lead. Milwaukee in front of 35,000 at Miller Park. Beautiful shot in the dugout. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap. Tomorrow, Brewers Cardinals, and we're on the air at 12:30. And Junior Guerra back on the hill. He has been impressive. 31-year-old rookie. So it'll be Guerra and Peralta to get the series started for the Brew Crew. Jimmy Nelson, with 99 pitches through 7 innings, is back out there to start the 8th. Bullpen could use a break. Jimmy Nelson, as frontline pitchers do, take the ball and carry on. I think the reins are off Nelson this year. This is a season where it's starting to look like a breakthrough for him, at least early in the schedule. And you know, top of the rotation pitchers, this is what you're allowed to do.
Yeah, good turnaround. Last time he faced Cincinnati, it didn't go too well for him. His worst start of the year, but pitching a dandy here today. Oh my!
Yeah, he drills Zach Cozart, who is pinch hitting. So coming up, and then Cozart is hit. Nelson's hit 2 today. The Brewers have hit 6 batters in the last 2 games.
Yeah, Derek Johnson wants to see if Tyler Thornburg's ready to go. And the 2-0 count right here. Look out. Yeah, gets him right on the top of the back.
Nelson with a couple of visitors, trying to buy a little time for Thornburg. First Lucroy, then Perez. That is a long used manager trick to try to get a reliever a few extra pitches. Thornburg looks like he's ready though.
Doesn't take him long.
Sometimes a manager needs a little minute and a little time to make a decision. I'm not ready to make a call yet. Go talk to him. Well, here's Billy Hamilton. Shows bunt, takes a strike. That RBI triple by Lucroy certainly influences the decision of counsel here. If it's a 2-run game, unlikely Nelson continues.
Yeah, this one more base run, you figure he's going to be out of the ball game.
Slow roller, Hill charging, and will make the play. Runner advances, but the first out. 1 away for Nelson with a runner at second. And I think that's going to do it. So counsel pops out of the dugout. He's made the call already. Jimmy Nelson will exit 7 1/3 today. He just continues to impress. He is pitching his way closer and closer to that elite status, and he'll exit to a standing ovation from the 35,000 here. Turn in, and Jimmy Nelson is turning himself into an ace. He gave up 5 hits in the first 2 innings, just 1 since. And Nelson is out 7 1/3, 2 earned runs allowed. He'll give way to his bullpen, which up until yesterday had been very good. Tyler Thornburg will get the ball, trying to get the last 2 outs of this 8th inning.
Yeah, just a blip on the radar screen in yesterday's ball game for Michael Blazek. Last pitched on Friday did Tyler. Against these Reds, tossed a perfect 8th inning. And Tyler Thornburg has not allowed a run over his last 8 appearances. That covers 7 2/3 innings.
Runner at second. 3-run Brewer lead. And here's Joey Votto. Phillips due next, and then Jay Bruce. The dangerous part of the order for Cincinnati. Votto's 0 for 3 today. All those at-bats against Nelson. 2 ground outs, both to the right side, and then a strikeout. Strike 2.
May get him looking for a curveball, perhaps. Took 2 fastballs.
Votto choking up, down in the crouch, right on top of the plate, and a ground ball out to Hill in the grass, and Votto's out. All 3 of his ground outs have come that way, and Votto is the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Brandon Phillips. Tomorrow's opponent, the Cardinals. They are in Washington, D.C. today, and they're getting run over by the Nationals. 10-2 the score in the 9th inning. So St. Louis will take the flight from our nation's capital and be ready for a day game tomorrow. Right now in the National League Central, it's the Cubs, the Pirates, and the Cardinals. A loss today, the Cardinals will be 1 over. 26-25. Cubs have the best record in the big leagues. 33-14, 19 games over 500. They've won 4 straight. Cubs are winning today 7-1 over the Phillies in the 8th. Trying to make it 5 in a row.
Brewers did a good job against the Cubs here at Miller Park. They really did. They won 2 out of 3.
Phillips, a weak ground ball. Carter's over. He's got a long peg. He hits Thornburg. No problem. Thornburg easily cleans it up as the Reds go quietly. Bottom of the 8th coming. Brewers up 3.
At Miller Park, Brewers lead 5-2 over the Reds. Bottom of the 8th we go. We're getting set, of course, for our post-game show, Brewers Live. And, Davey, a lot of talk going to be on what Jimmy Nelson was able to accomplish. Boy, after that first inning, during that first inning, I did not see him pitching into the 8th inning. He just exited recently.
Oh, he was, you know. And we were talking on the pregame show that, you know, he's taken that next step, and he certainly has, that he's learned to make adjustments. He had 5 hits in the first 2 innings, and after that, only 1 hit. And he showed that he made some great adjustments in the ball game.
He is a pleasure to watch on the mound. We're going to catch up hopefully with Jimmy Nelson and, of course, Craig Counsell and the crew all coming up after the ball game on Brewers Live. Brian?
All right, Craig and Davey, thank you. Here we go to the bottom of the 8th. Ross Ohlendorf is on the mound. And he'll get the Brewer half of the 8th with Aaron Hill leading off. Ramon Flores to follow, then Keon Broxton.
Yeah, the Reds picked up Ohlendorf right at the end of spring training. The Kansas City released him on March 23rd. Reds picked him up 3 days later. The old-fashioned delivery.
Ground ball to short. De Jesus will make the play.
Hey, once again this summer you can see both the Brew Crew and the Zoo for one low price for just $20. You get a ticket to a Brewers game, an adult general admission ticket to the Milwaukee County Zoo, and a free lunch cooler. For details, go to brewers.com/zoo.
It's a great zoo. Not too far from Miller Park.
Right.
One man out. Here's Flores. Yeah, I like this windup by Ohlendorf. It does. It takes you back to the golden era of Major League Baseball with starters, the full windup.
Back in the 50s, 60s.
He's not so much trying to be stylish as he is trying to get that rhythm before he throws it. He's bounced around a lot. Ohlendorf went to college at Princeton. And remember, he was working in the offseason, had an internship during his playing days on Capitol Hill. I think he was working in the agricultural side of our government. And there are many who feel that Ross Ohlendorf will be a politician post-baseball era. Could be the president of the United States one day.
How about that?
Who knows?
And we saw him win.
So don't just let this inning go by with Ross Ohlendorf on the mound. I mean, just think about it. If he entered the presidential race right now, he might have a chance to win. he might. Big league pitcher. He's too busy right now.
Yeah, he's got other stuff going on. Not sure why you would even throw your hat into that ring, but as if life isn't complicated enough.
Full count to Flores. My only thought with this windup here, for a hitter, from your perspective as a hitter, it almost gets you into a rhythm as a hitter. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about how Johnny Cueto changes up how he delivers the ball. But as a hitter, you kind of know the timing that's the ball's going to at least come out of his hand.
Yeah.
It's fluid for the hitter as much as it is the pitcher.
But it's just Ohlendorf's way of, as you say, I mean, just trying to be consistent with his mechanics and getting that good balance point on the back foot before he heads to home plate. It's different for everybody. Watch the way he kind of balances that stiff back leg, and every now and again, I guess he'll quicken that delivery a little bit, but then he has to go when he gets on a stretch. It's just like everybody else. Can't do that when you're in the stretch.
He's certainly throwing hard again. Didn't have that kind of velocity when he was a starting pitcher in his days with the Pirates. That last one came in at 96. The 9th pitch of the at-bat is a base hit. Flores battles for 9 and a single to the opposite field. Flores with his first hit of the game.
You see that four-seam fastball out over the plate, and Flores doing a nice job getting on top of it. I don't ever remember seeing Ohlendorf throwing 96 miles an hour. Of course, we haven't seen much of him. Remember him with the Pirates, but 96, not bad.
Pitched for the Rangers last year. pitching in his home state. Kirk Neuenhuis will pinch hit for Keon Broxton. On a day when the Brewers are without Ryan Braun, the crew has scored 5 runs on 8 hits, leading at 5-2. Hoping Braun will be back in the lineup tomorrow. He's missed the last 2. Did play yesterday in a pinch hit role, but last 2 starts.
He played 4 straight games on the last road trip. They have been without him quite a bit the last couple of weeks.
He missed 4 in a row, and then he started 5 in a row, including the opener of this series against the Reds Friday. Neuenhuis, pop up, foul territory. Duvall's over, and he's out of room. Good crowd today, fun crowd, a lot of families, a lot of kids. That's what it's all about.
A lot of kids eating free.
That's right. Well, kids always eat free. Just depends on who's paying for it.
Somebody's paying the tab, but the Brewers are paying the tab today.
Yeah, free water. Pour this out. Ice cream on the ground. Let's get another one. Get it free. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Thrown to second, not in time. Stolen base for Flores. I think DeJesus feels like he made the tag there, and he's asking his manager to give it a look. Catch. And definitely got him on the backside, but I'm not sure the hand was.
I think a little bit late. I think the hand was in there, but Brian Price might take a chance and want to see a review.
And they will challenge.
Got him on the pants, but the question is the hand in there first? Can't tell. Can't see the bag.
If we could just have Marvin Hudson move a little bit.
Maybe. Who knows?
Crew chief Jim Joyce there with Marvin Hudson.
We need to start sponsoring these reviews. I think that would be a very popular thing to sponsor because you see them all the time.
This review brought to you by BA and Rock. You can send a check. Oh, man, it's tough because the call on the field is safe. Can you tell if the hand was on the bag before the tag or not? That's going to be what the umpires in Chelsea, New York are going to have to determine.
But if you're Brian Price, what do you have to lose, right? You don't have anything to lose. If you lose it and you think there's a close play in the 9th inning, then you just go ask the umpires to challenge it anyway. So you really don't have anything to lose.
All right, well, they have an answer in New York, and safe is the call. So not enough there to overturn it.
But not necessarily out of reviews, though.
Call on the field stands. Now, if they say, when they come back, the language they use, if they say the call on the field is confirmed, that means there's no doubt that he was safe. When they say it stands, there's not enough evidence to overturn. As we dive deeper and deeper into the review challenge process. I like your idea, though. Think how many books you could sell if you could get Jim Joyce to put one of those things around his neck and hold up a sign with a 1-800 number.
This review sponsored by If These Walls Could Talk.
By Bill Schroeder and Drew Olson. And
maybe we should just do that until somebody wants to buy that.
So every time we have a challenge, we'll just take that time and we'll sell stuff.
Right.
I like that.
Whatever we feel like.
I'm in. There's a called strike 3, and Neuenhuis is rung up. Second out of the inning. Well, there is no review, but there is time to tell you about this. Friday, soccer fans, get ready. 100th anniversary of the Copa America. It all starts USA Colombia Friday at 7 Central on FS1. Or you can watch the entire tournament live on Fox Sports Go. Alex Presley takes a strike. Alex starting for Braun today. Had a double and a run scored in the 5th. You've got our marketing department all abuzz right now, Rock. Ideas are just flying off the walls.
This challenge brought to you by the U.S. Army. Something like that. Talk about a challenge, right?
Yeah, turn it into a positive. I like it. And there's nothing more positive than selling a few more of Rock's books. It is a good book.
You're all out.
You sold out. You're in the 2nd run.
Yeah.
When Rock first presented the idea that he was going to write a book, I said, well, it'll be a million seller. He said, you think? I go, well, you'll have 1 million of them in your cellar.
I get close.
But I was wrong.
Close.
You're selling a lot of them. People are interested.
Yeah. Got them at the team store here.
Even without a picture of me in the book, people are still buying the book. It's amazing.
It's probably why. They see enough of us.
Two outs. Flores at 2nd, and Presley takes a ball. Speaking of pictures, the one on your book on the cover, that doesn't seem like a current picture of you.
No, that's Vasgersian. Circa Matt Vasgersian.
Which means what? Like that's 15, 20 years ago.
Right. Yeah. The real picture of me is on the back. Yeah, see?
Oh, I see. There's the younger.
You recognize the one on the left, right? Ronnie with the long hair.
I mean, that's still an old picture of you and Ryan Braun, right?
2011.
Is that where that's from?
Yeah.
I got that as 08 maybe.
You think?
I don't know. Here's the 2-1 strike.
Maybe.
You didn't make that decision, right?
I made no decisions in any of the pictures. Just for the record.
I was just testing you.
No, I didn't make any of those calls.
All the pictures that are in and all the pictures that may not be in.
Nothing to do
weren't
with
your
it.
call.
Nothing. No. But I'm getting the heat.
When I write my book, they better put a picture of me up from 15 years ago, too. That ball's in the dirt. Boy, Barnhart, I think he took that right off the wrist. That stung him a little bit.
Or worse. Yeah, that was a spike job. Check it out. And it did get him on the wrist.
The backhand.
He even had the hand behind the back for a while. And that talk about a needle in the haystack. Getting that wrist. That's the throwing wrist.
So you want to be a catcher. The tools of brilliance, as we always say.
You don't have a lot of time to, get in position to block a ball when it's a fastball normally.
And he is begging for an out right here. A pop-up or something. 3-2 in the air, slicing. That's a long run for Holt, but he's got it to end the inning. All right, here we go. 9th inning coming up. Brewers lead by 3. It's 5-2 Milwaukee. Last call for the Reds. Brewers trying to make it a series win. They are 3 outs away. 5-2 Milwaukee as we go to the 9th. And Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Kurt Neuenhuis will stay in the game to play center field. Pinch hit last inning. And it's not Jeremy Jeffress. Clearly has the day off today. It's going to be Blaine Boyer out to try to nail down the save for Milwaukee.
Yeah, Jeffress got the loss in yesterday's ball game. Came in the 9th inning in a tie game. Had a long inning for that matter, which is probably why he's not out there right now. Man, Boyer last pitched on Friday against the Reds, and inning in a third of perfect baseball. 21 pitches for Jeremy, and he's pitched a lot. 4 of the last 5 days for Jeffress.
First man up, Jay Bruce. Boyer's been great. Boyer's got a scoreless streak now at 11 games, 13 in the 3rd innings, and has been unscored upon in 17 of his 20 outings this year. So a long consecutive streak, and only 3 games where he's actually given up runs. 3 career saves for Boyer. He had one last year as a member of the Twins. Prior to that, he hadn't had a save since 2011. He was out of the game with injury for a bit. His first career save came way back in 08 as a member of the Braves. A little flare, center field. Neuenhuis right there. Jay Bruce is out. 1 gone in the 9th.
Well, he's not overpowering, but he's been able to throw a lot of strikes so far this year. Mixes his pitches very well. Well, you had Carlos Torres picking up a couple of saves in the last road trip. Back-to-back days actually in Atlanta. And now Blaine Boyer looking for his first.
So Boyer will face Adam Duvall. Brewers lead by 3, 5-2. They took the lead in the 3rd inning. 2 2-out runs. Perez and Lucroy had RBI hits in that 3rd inning. A 5th inning run for Milwaukee on an RBI from VR to give him a 2-run lead, and then Lucroy tripled in a run in the 7th. Another one in the air. This time it's Flores, and there is out number 2. Blaine Boyer. What a terrific comeback story he is. Still at it. Injuries put his career in jeopardy. Non-roster invitee out of spring training, made the team, and he's been lights out. Got a chance at his first save as a Brewer, just his 4th of his career. In there, 1-1. Two outs in the 9th. Boyer delivers. 1-2 the count. A strike away. Don't forget, Brewers Cardinals tomorrow. 1:10 first pitch. We're on the air at 12:30. Memorial Day special from Miller Park tomorrow. Going to be a great day here at Miller Park. Still a few tickets left too. Come and see us. Starts a 3-game series with the Cardinals tomorrow afternoon. In the air to center off the end of the bat, and that's going to fall, a base hit. Tyler Holt with a single extends the game. His 2nd hit. 2 for 4 today for Holt. And Boyer will face Ivan De Jesus Jr. now. Crowd trying to rev it back up again. Just shy of 35,000 today at Miller Park. Perfect afternoon for baseball in Milwaukee. Runner takes off. No mind for the Brewers. Cole will be at second. And Boyer falling behind to Jesus.
This is where you want to end it right here. You don't want to have that tying run come to the plate.
Tucker Barnhart, if he bats, would represent the tying run. 2-0.
They put it right by him. And that fastball count, and swung right through it.
2-1 on the Red shortstop. A win today. The Brewers go to 23-27, back to 4 under. Back-to-back series wins, and 3 of the last 4 series victories for Milwaukee, coming off the sweep against the Braves. 2-2 now. It was late again. Reds down to their last strike. On a day when the Brewers did not have Ryan Braun, scored 5 runs on 8 hits. Had some clutch 2-out hits. 3 of the runs came in with 2-out hits. Two and a little cue shot foul. Trying to get him to the finish line. Brewers are going to get to tomorrow in pretty good shape in their bullpen if Boyer can finish this off. Line drive, base hit. Into center field it goes. This is going to bring in a run. And the Reds are still alive.
Never over till it's over, that's for sure. You got to get that last out, and the Reds are fighting to the last out. Craig Counsell looking over his scorecard. He's got Barnhart, then the pitcher's spot. Well, and another fastball that ends up into the outfield. That one middle in, and this time DeJesus able to center on it and driving a run.
Ends the scoreless streak for Blaine Boyer at 11 games. So now it's a 2-run game. 2 outs in the 9th. And Barnhart takes ball 1. Remember, Barnhart just took one off the hand, his right hand, on a pitch in the dirt. The catcher caught one right above the thumb.
Not as much of a factor when you're batting left-handed, though.
Runner takes off. Barnhart fouls it away. 1 ball, 1 strike. The anxiety at Miller Park right now due in large part to the Reds' comeback yesterday when they scored 5 runs in the 7th inning with 2 outs to tie the game at 6. Boyer retired the first 2 quickly, and then back-to-back singles to get the tying run to the plate. Runner takes off, pitches low. DeJesus ends up at second, and Barnhart ahead in the count 2-1 now. Got to make a pitch. 2-1 in the air. Shallow right center. It is falling fast. Base hit. Another run scores. It's a 1-run game. 5-4 Milwaukee. And Barnhart on a little flare to right center, able to keep this game alive.
Well, and the Brewers are playing no doubles. They really weren't too much worried about De Jesus at second. It's the guy at the plate that they're worried about. They were playing very deep to make sure that Barnhart wasn't able to hit a double. Got it on the handle. Look how deep they are. I mean, you can't get any deeper than that. That's why they didn't even come close to this fly ball. And off the bat, I think Boyer thought that was going to be an out, but now you see how deep they were in the outfield, and the inning continues. Getting interesting now.
This is the pitcher spot coming up. Derek Johnson, the pitching coach, with a quick word. And Brian Price is going to bring out Jordan Pacheco, the former Rocky, who's got some pop in his bat. Has not hit one this year. Been bouncing around a little bit since his days with the Rockies. Was with the Diamondbacks the last 2 seasons.
And now the Brewers can't afford to allow Barnhart just to walk to second base. They're holding him on this time.
He's the tying run. Go ahead run at the plate. Pitch number 21 for Boyer, and a little half swing. Did he go? He did. A strike on Pacheco. Could have gone either way. Gets the call. Carlos Torres loosening in case. Probably, well, certainly the last hitter for Boyer. 0-2 the count.
And leaving a lot of pitches up in the strike zone is Boyer, just trying to grind through this inning.
No balls, 2 strikes. Again, Boyer and the Brewers a strike away from a win. And there he is. Blaine Boyer finds the spot. A strikeout. A save for Boyer. Strikes out Pacheco. The Brewers win 5-4. Big day for Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy, by the way, has recorded 3 RBIs in 3 straight games. First time in his career. And just the second Brewer to do it. Robin Yount, the only other to drive in 3 consecutive games. Lucroy with 2 hits and 3 RBIs. Boyer picks up his first save, makes a winner out of Jimmy Nelson, who goes to 5-3. Brewers win the series, and that sets us up for Brewers Live as we send it out to Craig Cashon standing by. Take it away, Craig.
Okay, good stuff here today for Milwaukee. 5-4 is your final.